Hello, welcome to San Francisco News. I'm Diane Wesley Smith. Let's get right to it. This is our election edition, and we're going to give you our position on the national, state, and local elections. We'll start with the presidential election, president and vice president. Of course, we recommend Joseph Biden and Kamala D. Harris. The United States Representative, Nancy Pelosi. State Senator, we're recommending Jackie Fielder because she's an educator and a nonprofit organizer. We need someone that cares about people and has a strong commitment to affordable housing and won't sidestep the issue. We're hoping that she'll do that. And of course, we recommend, again, State Assemblyman David Chiu from District 17. Oh, Nancy Pelosi represents District 12. The San Francisco News, we recommend these propositions on the state ballot. On the state ballot, we have Proposition 14, which is to borrowing money for stem cell research. Support. We recommend you vote yes. Proposition 23, to build schools and communities. We support and recommend that you vote yes. Proposition 14, Proposition 16, which will repeal Proposition 209. It will repeal the ban on affirmative action. I think in these days and times, in these days and times, we all know that Black people have not been treated fairly systemically across the board since we were brought here. Proposition 16 can correct that. A yes vote on Proposition 16 can begin to correct the past injustices. So if you are anti-racist, then we know that you'll vote yes on Proposition 16. The only way a person can vote no on Proposition 16 is if they're a white supremacist or if they're a racist. It's impossible to serve two masters. Proposition 17 is to grant people on parole the right to vote. Of course, we support that. Every citizen in the community, we want them to have the right to vote. If they have served their time and they're on parole, that means that they're in good standing and they are a citizen who has paid their dues and they have the right to vote. So yes on Proposition 17. Proposition 18, we recommend a vote of yes on 18. Proposition 18 allows those are young people that are 17 years old. If they're 18 by the time of the election, they have the right to vote. San Francisco goes a step further, but we'll talk about that shortly. Proposition 19 provides property tax breaks and also creates a wildfire fund. We support yes. It will provide the tax breaks for senior citizens. Proposition 20. We oppose Proposition 20. Proposition 20 will make it tougher on parole and property crimes. It add crimes. What it'll do is put people, we recommend that you vote no, because it will make certain misdemeanors felonies that should remain felonies. It's kind of like a setup to send people straight on through to the penitentiary, which is a for-profit business at this time. There's no rehabilitation in the penitentiaries. Proposition 21, we say vote yes to support rent control. And let me put on my glasses. Proposition 21, it allows local governments to enact rent control on housing that was first occupied over 15 years ago, with an exception for landlords who own no more than 2 homes with distinct titles and subdivided interests. So what that means is the small property owner that has a couple of properties is exempt from this rent control law. Proposition 22, we adamantly say we oppose Proposition 22. Why? Because gig employees or drivers for Uber, Lyft, Instacart, all of them, they deserve the same rights as other employees because they're operating as an employee, and they deserve benefits and health care. And the majority of, we have spoken to many drivers, and the general consensus is that it's a no-brainer. They need benefits. And what has happened is large companies like Uber and Lyft are spending millions. You see, whenever you see commercials running all day, forever and ever, look at the bottom and follow the money. And that will allow you to determine for yourself if it's in the best interest of the people, or if they're saying no and they're spending tons and tons of money, that usually means that you want to vote yes. So in the case of Proposition 22, which all the commercials, so many of the commercials are saying yes, we oppose Proposition 22 because the drivers deserve benefits. Proposition 23. The reason we support Proposition 23 is because it is important in a healthcare environment that there is a doctor there when you're doing an invasive procedure. Dialysis is an invasive procedure. We want the clinics clean. People deserve to have clean clinics. If the clinics aren't clean, if there isn't a doctor, a physician on duty during the dialysis, it should be closed down. People deserve the best. And people are saying, well, where will I go? I will die. There's so many dialysis clinics. You see the commercials. But we don't want roaches. We want physicians there. You or I or some of our loved ones, anyone could go to dialysis at any time. Let's make sure that it's safe. Let's make sure that it's clean. And let's make sure there's a doctor on duty. So we advocate and we recommend a yes vote on Proposition 23, which regulates dialysis clinics. Proposition 24 is a no-brainer. That will give us stronger consumer privacy laws. Lord knows we need it. You get robocalls. You get a lot of solicitation because our information is being exchanged and sold. So we need stronger. Proposition 24 would support stronger protections, privacy protections for the public. Vote yes on Proposition 24. Proposition 25, that is a no in the cash bail system. What does that mean? That means that people will get out on bail if they are not a threat to society, not because they have lots of money. For example, a person accused of murder and has murdered previously, a person that has previously been a danger to society, their crime presents a danger to society, and because they have enough money, they can bail out. Proposition 23 says no. If they are a threat to our society, to our communities, to the general public, they must remain in jail until they have had a fair trial and until they've been tried by a jury of their peers. Okay, so in other words, let's simplify it. If a person steals a bag of candy and they are arrested, they can have a bail hearing and they will be released because it was a bag of candy. But if a person attacks someone, they will not be released whether they can make bail or not. So if a person is not a threat to society, they have the right to bail out. If they are a threat, no matter how much money they have, they cannot buy bail. So 25, we support the in cash bail. If you have money, you get out of jail. If you don't have money, you don't get out of jail. In cash bail. So, in cash bail means we support it and we want a yes, we recommend very strongly a yes vote on Proposition 25. Those are the state propositions, and you can see our website for more information. Now let's talk about San Francisco's propositions. You heard Mayor Breed speaking about yes on Proposition A and that it won't cost us anything. There's a small cost, but the cost comes up to like over a 5-year period. It's very minute. And let me just go to my research. Okay, so on Proposition A in San Francisco, they're basically, when Mayor Breed said that there is no charge, it doesn't cost anything, she was telling the truth, and I'm referring to that because I want to share with you what she means, give you a breakdown. there would be, let's say, based on the estimates, the highest estimated annual property tax cost for these bonds for the owner of a home with an assessed value of $600,000 or more would be approximately $83.13. So we recommend strongly a yes vote on Proposition A. Proposition A is a health and recovery bond, and it's a bond to finance the acquisition and improvement of real property, including to stabilize, improve, and make permanent investments in support of housing facilities, shelters, and or facilities that deliver services to persons experiencing mental health challenges, substance use disorders, and homelessness. And you can read it for yourself. But Proposition A would require the Citizens General Obligation Bond Oversight Committee to review how the bond money is spent. That's a win-win proposition. Proposition B, shall the city amend the charter to create a Department of Sanitation and establish a Public Works Commission to oversee the Department of Public Works? We support that. If you've been in San Francisco, you know we need a Department of Sanitation. So yes on B, please. To create a Department of Sanitation and an oversight for Public Works. Personally, I think Public Works is doing a great job. I know when we call them, they come. However, sometimes we're at a turning point now, and it is time to, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. So we must create the legislation for it. So we must have a Department of Sanitation, and we must have, and it comes with oversight for the Public Works Commission. Proposition C. Proposition C. Shall the city amend the charter to remove the requirement that people serving on city boards, commissions, and advisory bodies be registered voters and United States citizens and be San Francisco residents? Let me read that again. Proposition C wants to remove the requirement that people serving on city boards, commissions, and advisory bodies be registered voters and U.S. citizens and be San Francisco residents. We recommend no, because we recommend vote no on Proposition C. Proposition D, an oversight of the Sheriff's Board, that speaks for itself. That was a proposition initiated by Supervisor Walton. We want to personally thank him for that. All of our departments need oversight, or need as much help as possible. Proposition E, shall the city amend the charter to require regular evaluations of police staffing levels? That's a no-brainer. We need regular evaluations of everything on a regular basis. So the status quo or the staffing levels previously set need to be amended. So we recommend a yes vote on E, so that the staffing levels will be reflective of the need. Proposition F is a business tax overhaul. Let me give you the quote that our city controller, Ben Rosenfield, stated. Should the proposed combined charter amendment and ordinance be approved by voters, in my opinion, it would result in additional revenue by the city of approximately $97 million on an ongoing basis. Again, Proposition B is a business tax overall, and our city controller said that should the proposition, if the proposed proposition charter amendment passes, we could generate $97 million on an ongoing basis. We recommend a yes vote for Proposition F. Proposition G. Shall the city amend the charter to allow San Francisco residents to vote for local candidates if they are citizens, at least 16 years old, and registered to vote? Yes. Our youth understand the crisis we are facing as a city, as a country. They understand the COVID-19 pandemic, climate emergencies. They understand that schools are underfunded. They understand the lack of low income and affordable housing. They understand that criminal justice reforms and are needed, and the violence in our community. And many of them know someone that has been murdered by the police or someone in the community. Okay? So we strongly recommend that young people who are U.S. citizens and at least registered to vote and are 16 years old have the right to vote. Proposition H. I'm going back and forth with the glasses because none of us are getting any younger. Proposition H. Neighborhood commercial districts and city permitting. Now, my background is real estate, and I'm a licensed real estate broker. I am a community broker and an advocate, and I can say with all authority that if you remove the decision for permitting from the community and put it in the hands of government without any community input, without the normal process, which is a public hearing with the planning commission, if that happens, it's like selling one down the river. It's kind of like having the police oversight themselves, or it's kind of like drug dealers policing themselves. No. Vote no. The city because the city shall not vote no. The question is, shall the city change the planning code for neighborhood commercial districts to increase permissible uses, eliminate public notification processes for new permitted uses, and require an expedited process for permits? In other words, can commercial districts pop up across the street from you? Can the city do what they... My real estate background is really shining. This is just a bad one. This is this is not in the public interest. It's never a good idea to eliminate public notifications of proposed changes. This ordinance was not presented to the Board of Supervisors through the regular legislative process. And I think right now we are all kind of sick and tired of the law not being followed. The legislative process is not being followed. And it was also not subjected to hearings at the Planning Commission. So what we have here is Proposition H. And what it will do is eliminate public notification for permitted new uses, require an expedited process for permits. I like the expedited process for permits. However, there's no public notification. That smacks of denying the democratic process. Strong recommendation, vote no on H. You can read it for yourself. We have our pamphlet here. We have also completed our voter registration, and we will be mailing our ballot in after I finish this recording on today, October the 5th. Proposition I, real estate transfer tax. Vote yes. The city shall permanently increase the transfer tax rate on sales of leases of 35 years or more of real estate. When you have a lease that's 35 years or more, that's usually a business that has millions of dollars. And so they take out 35-year leases, 99-year leases. And what this proposition, a yes vote on Proposition I, would increase the tax rate to 5.5% only on those transactions of 10 million to 25 million, and 6% on those transactions of 25 million or more, for an estimated average revenue of $236 million a year. So, for an annual tax revenue of $236 million a year, vote yes on Proposition I. Proposition J, partial tax for San Francisco Unified School District. The funds would be guaranteed to be dedicated to teachers' salaries, staffing, and other purposes for the San Francisco Unified School District. Finally, we have an opportunity, a direct opportunity, to do something to help to pay our teachers. It's going to be a long time before they're ever paid what they're worth. However, this is a step in the right direction, and it's not a baby step. A vote yes, a vote to vote yes on Proposition J would increase teachers' salaries. Just that alone. But also staffing numbers and other purposes for Unified School District. The money is only for our Unified School District. Proposition K, affordable housing authorization. Please vote yes. Because a yes vote means you want to authorize the city to own, develop, construct, and acquire up to 10,000 units. It's a great first step of low-income rental housing in San Francisco. Support by voting yes for low-income housing in San Francisco. And let me just tell you. Okay. Proposition, so that's K. Proposition L. Shall the city place an additional tax permanently on some businesses in San Francisco that have the highest paid managers with income more than $100,000, the median income? The median income in San Francisco is $96,000, $96,265. For individuals, it's $74,841. So, it could be for you. You could have a median income, but I'm sure that you know a lot of people that don't even have that. But I'm sure you know people that also do. So Proposition L is merely saying that companies that have employees that are making 100 times, the managers are making 100 times $96,265 is in their household, 100 times that. Or they're make as an individual, they're making 100 times $74,841,000, that they will that there will be an additional permanent tax. It's only on the businesses that have the highest paid managers with income of more than 100 times the median income. And now we're down to Proposition RR, Caltrans sales tax. That's to preserve Caltrans service. But many who live in San Francisco don't want to be taxed for service, which is used primarily by those who don't live here in San Francisco. Caltrans is a wonderful resource. But respectfully, however, our local communities are currently devastated by the government shutdown of the economy because of the COVID-19 crisis. Low and middle income earners and the unemployed cannot afford yet another sales tax at this time, let alone scheduled to run for another 30 years. Okay, so we want to pay a Proposition RR proposes we pay an additional sales tax for another 30 years. We strongly oppose that, and we recommend you vote no on Proposition RR in San Francisco. Again, why? Because even though Caltrain is a wonderful service, our local communities are devastated. And we're going to end with we need all the money we can get in our local communities. There's no time. Priorities must be set. San Francisco Board of Education recommendations: Kevin Bodges, Jenny Lamb, Chanel Williams. And I'm missing one. Excuse me. Oh, and the San Francisco Board of Education President Mark Sanchez. We would like to see Black history no longer excluded from the educational curriculum in our San Francisco schools. That is it for our recommendations. Please read them for yourselves, but of course, you know, every year I try to read them for you. I mean, I have to read them anyway because we need to be informed voters. Everyone has this pamphlet, and I don't have my voter registration in front of me, but anyway, God bless you. Let's make the changes that we seek by voting. And thank you for joining us. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.